trouble streaming to X.
Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. This side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. Ant's over here clicking on stuff he's not supposed to.
I didn't click on anything. I just took it off the screen.
He's clicking on stuff. Now, for those of you who have been monitoring the YouTube channel and Facebook and X, you'll know that about an hour ago, we wrapped up another show in the Snow the Goalie studio. Finally, we got to do a show in the Snow the Goalie studio. And now we are joined. Intern Andrew is on the ones and twos. Intern Max is off doing other things in the building. He's not an intern. He's an employee of
Comcast Spectacor.
Yes. And he did a wonderful job on the live feed in there. We might have an intern war, a producer war. I don't know how Intern Andrew feels. Something tells me Intern Andrew's scrappy. We'll talk about that when Bundy's here.
Well, speaking of scrappy.
Jackie Spiegel's here.
From the Philadelphia Inquirer. How you doing, Jackie?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. We haven't had you on since Halloween. Russ wasn't even here for that one.
Nice to see Russ this time.
So it's good to have you and Russ together on the pregame show.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game tonight, with the Florida defending Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers coming into town. Is this Flyers team ready for Florida?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah?
I mean, they played them 5-4 last time in a shootout.
Yeah.
Sam was obviously in goal then. But yeah, no, I mean, the way they've been playing, they're obviously you can sense it in the room. They're a confident bunch. I don't see why this wouldn't be a good game.
My only concern, and I tend to agree with you because I do think they're going to play a good game, and I think it's going to be a close game tonight. But the only concern I have is when you're going good, and then all of a sudden you get 4 days off. That first game usually takes a minute to re-ramp it back up.
That's fair.
And so sometimes, especially against a good team, that could come back and get you. But I think this is a close game tonight as well. Fedotov gets the start tonight. Does that surprise you at all?
I thought maybe Sam would get the start tonight, to be honest with you. But they do play Boston in Boston at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And Sam shut out Boston earlier this year.
Correct. And
he was against them before he got hurt in that game. So maybe he comes back on Saturday. He said he's feeling good. He's ready, But obviously it's all in the decision of the coaching staff and the medical staff and whatnot. So maybe they're being a little cautious because there was a reoccurrence of the injury that initially happened.
Yes.
So a little surprised, but it's fine.
No, it is. It is what it is. And here's another thing, though, Jackie, that I wanted to ask you. And, I know that last year was your first year on this beat. Now, you're a seasoned veteran now at this point. This team is back to playing the way it was playing at this time a year ago. And I think a year ago it was buoyed by really good goaltending. I mean, Carter Hart and Sam Ersson were both playing great in goal. They were pretty structured on the ice, but they actually were getting a little bit more scoring a year ago at this time than they're getting now. What is different about this team? Because when you look at it, ultimately, I mean, they're getting better goaltending, but it's not as good as it was a year ago.
Yeah.
And they're not scoring as much as they were scoring a year ago. But why is it that it's working still anyway at the same level that it was a season ago? I know, tough question.
That's a really
This is what happens when you
throw it on poor Jackie.
This is what happens when you graduate to the second season.
I guess so. I guess part of it is maybe the opposition.
Yeah.
I would say, you're facing teams that maybe you're facing a Nashville team that was in an absolute tailspin, a Rangers team that was in, I think they're still in a tailspin. You have, St. Louis, they had just fired their coach. Sorry.
You got to talk into that microphone, Jackie.
I feel like I talk loud.
The fine folks, well, but if you're not talking into the mic, they can't hear you at home, and then they start complaining in the comments, and then it becomes, you don't want that.
No.
Sorry, so go ahead.
So, as I was saying, I think part of it's the opposition, who they're playing against, like teams that are really struggling right now, and that, those are the teams you should be beating. And it's funny, I didn't really think about it until you asked the question, but maybe part of it is that they have such structural issues that they're so hyper-focused on it.
Yeah.
That now they're really starting to clamp down and making sure they're staying in that structure that they were so concerned was not happening. That disconnect, right? That disconnect was a word that was used a lot for the first month and a half. And I feel maybe now they're so focused on it, it's becoming second nature, and they're able to keep doing it. Was that a
Don't
good
mind, don't mind me for giving you something to write about. Right? Come up with a good Sunday story for you, right there.
There you go.
Right, Russ. One thing I got to ask you, just as a tech question,
What?
while we're doing this,
Yeah.
did the comments all of a sudden become super huge on the screen?
There was a branding change.
I was going to say.
Why would you like it to be smaller?
Well, no, it's fine. I was just noticing. I was like, I know my eyes are going bad, and I got to wear glasses all the time now.
We were testing it over on the new.
Yeah, I was just I just literally noticed that you popped up a question. And look, I mean, look at the size of that.
We can do this. There's
yeah, but that's what I'm used to. But this
that's
is a new one.
classic. That one's minimal, and that one's block. What one do you like?
No,
best?
I like the big one. I just think I was just.
No, maybe I don't like that as much.
Okay. Well,
That's bubble. Bubble seems nice.
Bubble's what we've used before, right?
Let's get a lady's opinion. Jackie, what do you like? Do you like the bubble? Do you like the classic? Do you like the minimal? Or do you like the block? Bubble?
I think I
Classic.
like the bubble.
Yep.
I do. I think it's
Jackie's got a good eye.
different. It's a little artsy. It's a little.
That's right.
There you
A
go.
little creative.
There we go.
It makes you think. It's like a thought bubble.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of thought bubbles, Jackie,
Yes.
you haven't seen some of the things that we're capable of doing on the show.
Oh, here we go. See what we've done?
Oh no.
Oh,
We've
no,
gone
you
off
know
the
what?
rails.
I can't do it. I deleted
Deirdre commented. She checked in, and
did she
intern
have to
intern Andrew's mom said she likes the bubble one best.
There we go.
Okay.
So
Well,
there we go.
she says it obviously.
That makes a lot of sense. Spencer Knight in goal for Florida tonight. Sergei Bobrovsky away from the team as he's expecting the birth of a child.
Yep.
But Spencer Knight has been really good for the Panthers. So that's it's like, okay, well we got Bobrovsky out of the net, but this guy's been really good for Florida.
I mean, Spencer Knight's been good since he played for the U.S. national team, junior national team at World Juniors. I mean, this kid is. It's always known he has the skill level.
Yeah.
And it's always known he has like Tortorella loves to compete, right? He competes, and so it's not surprising that he's playing well. And he obviously dealt with some things, and he had to take a step away from the game for a bit and everything. And now he's back, and you're seeing the Spencer Knight that I think everyone expected. What was it, like 2-3 years ago, a year ago even? So no surprises. He's an NHL goalie. I mean, he's doing what he needs to do anyway. So
I got to ask you this, back to the Flyers.
Sure.
Because it's something we talked about on the podcast when we recorded earlier today. What do you think about what's going on with Jamie Drysdale? Right now? Because to me, Jackie, it was a day-to-day injury, and I was told it wasn't even that serious of an injury at the time. Could have been one that you probably could have played through, but he was also not playing good hockey at the time. So it was almost kind of like, this is a good opportunity to get a quick reset, let him rest up the little injury he had, but then also kind of get him back, practicing and focusing on playing his game. He's been practicing full on for about a week now, right? A little over a week.
Well, remember they didn't practice like twice this week already.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it. But I think his first practice was last week this time. Without the non-contact.
No, because what's today? Wednesday?
Thursday.
No, it was Thanksgiving last week.
Right, that was they practiced on Thanksgiving.
No.
No?
Nope, they were off. I don't know, whatever it was.
Whenever it was. Maybe it was the Tuesday that they practiced. Whenever it was last week that they practiced, right?
I like that Ant is trying to tell Jackie the beat writer when the Flyers practice.
Believe me, I know they didn't practice on Thanksgiving because I was able to enjoy the day.
but knowing you, Jackie, you might have just been like, I ain't going over there. I ain't going over there Thanksgiving. You ain't ruining my Thanksgiving by having to go to practice.
Nope, I flew back that morning from Nashville.
That's right, you did. Are you a little surprised that he's not back in the lineup yet and where things are with him right now?
I think we all know John Tortorella likes when things are going well. He doesn't really like to tinker. I think we've learned from the sweatshirts he's a very superstitious coach.
Yes.
So I'm not yes and no because I think he's really happy with his pairings right now. So I don't know. It's hard to gauge where he's thinking and where his mindset is on that in terms of injured players. I don't know. I think like I said, I think he's happy with where things are. He's obviously happy with Emil Andre, and how could you not be?
Right.
Yeah, obviously happy with Ristolainen and Travis Sanheim and Cam York back, playing how he was playing maybe a little bit before. I think he still needs another step or two, but he's pretty close to what he was before the injury. I don't know. maybe he's a little nervous about putting him with Nick Seeler because I don't know if they were like the greatest pairing.
Yeah,
when
and
they
I
did play
think
together.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Right, because the other pairings are so good right now
Yeah.
that he'd rather have Zamula with Sealer than
They
Drysdale
seem to be a
with
better
Sealer.
fit.
Right, with Sealer.
Yes.
Just
yeah,
as a
I'm
partner.
Just talking about them two together.
Yes, yeah.
I think he's a better.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder just how injured he still is. That he's still on IR.
Well, because otherwise you're manipulating the IR.
I can't tell you. We don't talk.
Well,
to
you know, the NHL.
so-
I mean, the teams have done this. Isn't like this is something new, right? I mean, Mark Stone was, you know, and Stamkos the 1 year, right, for the Lightning. They were injured, and then all of a sudden, they're healthy as can be for Game 1 of the playoffs, right? Because you no longer have a salary cap issue at that point.
I saw a great tweet today.
Yeah?
I can't wait for Mark Stone to come back 2 days before Four Nations, then go back on IR.
Yeah.
After.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's more likely to suit up for the Flyers next, Jamie Drysdale or Ryan Ellis?
Hey, speaking of the Four Nations, we had a real robust conversation about this, and I don't know, you might feel differently than Bundy and I and Russ did about this.
Did you say that the U.S. is going to win?
We had nothing.
Well,
it wasn't about who was going to win.
I agree.
Oh, okay,
I agree.
That's where my head is.
I think the U.S. is going to win too.
Yes.
But I have a problem with the tournament, just in general.
Jackie, does it surprise you that Ant has a problem with something?
So what I had said on Snow the Goalie is that you're shutting down the league for a tournament that is like that you've created.
Yeah.
That doesn't include all the best players and all the best countries.
Right.
For 2 weeks.
Right.
For basically what is an exhibition. It's not like it's for a gold medal. It's not like it's for a world championship.
It is an exhibition, but we all know it's a setup for next year for the Olympics.
I get that. But I also
I will say this. Do I like the fact that they're doing this tournament? Yeah, I'm not against it. Am I annoyed that I'm literally every other day is a game right now, including multiple back-to-backs already, where I have to travel between cities? Yeah, a little.
Yeah, so
That's a lot.
I mean,
it's a lot.
So
and you know, it's a lot on the body for the players. It's a lot on the travel. It's a lot of different time zones. You know, I mean, the Flyers last week, Nashville, back to Philly, back to Central for St. Louis.
Yep.
You know, it feels very condensed.
Every Olympic year has that condensed schedule,
and it'll be next year too.
Right. So I don't understand why you did it mid-season. Like if you wanted to have this event, right? I don't know. Have it.
Señor, ¿cómo se dice el dinero que se puede ganar?
Yes, but you can do it.
Why.
You can do it preseason, right?
But nobody would want to do it.
I don't know about that.
You're getting these players in form, and it's not
They did the World Cup of hockey.
Season.
They used to do the World Cup of hockey in September.
But guys used to also smoke before games and not come into training camp in shape. So
it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, I was there. Like it wasn't that long ago.
Here's actually a better question. We'll have to talk about this on the regular Snow the Goalie at some point. Is this in some way the NHL's response to the NBA in-season tournament? Because the in-season tournament in the NBA. Now, hear me out.
I think that's stupid too.
I don't understand that, by the way.
I think it's stupid.
Here's the thing.
Soccerish.
Well, it's soccerish, but it was another kind of money grab, and the big thing was that in the NBA, the regular season doesn't matter, and that by financially incentivizing those players, that the winner gets actual money, that it made some of those games more competitive. I wonder if the NHL felt like, you know what, let's test the waters. And maybe down the line it won't just be 4 countries. Maybe down the line it will be a bigger tournament. But they want to see at a small scale, will it draw? Will it draw enough fans into the building?
It's going to draw. Look where it's being played. It's being played in Montreal and Boston.
Well, it depends on. Yeah, but maybe if it's expensive tickets, maybe not as.
Exactly. It's hockey.
Hockey's expensive.
It's hockey, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna. Montreal's
I'll
gonna
be
go.
there.
Right, you're covering it.
I'm covering it.
Right?
Now that there's 3 guys and Torts is there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will
Are you
be
gonna
there.
be like the dedicated Torts reporter? Are you gonna follow him around the recorder?
What the hell are you talking about, Jackie?
Where's my T-shirt?
That's right. See? I said we should get one of those made, right? I'll just put it in the shop. So of the 3 guys that are going, I mean, we're not surprised by Ristolainen at all.
No.
I mean, that was a gimme for Finland.
Finland's very depleted on defense, especially.
Right. I mean,
Not that he didn't deserve it anyway.
Well, he certainly deserved it.
He definitely deserved it anyway, but Finland's defense is thin.
But I think that was a given. I think that there's some people who are a little surprised that both Konechny and Sanheim made it for Team Canada. I think that they're both deserving. I think Konechny fits exactly what you would want for a fourth line kind of player on that.
I've seen some putting him on the top line.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No way.
But third line, fourth line, he has that bite to his game that really works in that role.
Can you imagine him and Marchand
on a superstar team, right? Like he fits that role. I guess Sanheim, I think he's had the best year of his career, no question, and I think he's deserving of it. But there are people who question their inclusion. I wanted to kind of get.
They haven't watched any games.
Oh, you sound like Joel Farabee.
Yeah. No, but Joel had a point. Like, if you watch any game from Travis Sanheim, look, I don't know Travis Sanheim 22-23 season.
Yeah.
Right, where he was, I guess, bad enough that he almost got traded. Right.
Yes.
I've only seen Travis Sanheim from last year on, and this Travis Sanheim that I'm seeing compared to I saw at this time last year is like here. He was good last year when I especially the first couple of months before he started getting a little broken down and needed rest and his body the toll was kind of hitting him a little bit. But he's like even above that now.
Yeah.
He's just something to watch.
Yeah, he is right now. He's playing at a level he's never played at before. So I think if you do watch the games, then you would see why he deserves to be there as one of their defensemen.
100%.
And I think Konechny's, again, like I said, I think he's an energy kind of player. He's an energy player who has offensive ability, which you don't have a lot of those in hockey, right? Like that have that kind of third, fourth line mentality, but they're still good scorers.
Oh, I think he's, maybe on that team, third, fourth line.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like he's got the mentality of a third or fourth liner because he's a pest and he gets in people's face and he creates trouble, but he's gifted enough offensively to be higher up in a lineup. But when you're putting an all-star team together, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have many guys like that.
It'll be interesting to see where they play him compared to like I said, Brad Marchand, who's kind of I'm not saying. They're both kind of pests, and they both can score.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of balance the two of them out that have a very similar game.
All right, Jackie, we only have you for a couple more minutes.
Yep.
And you know Russ likes to give you a hard time.
I do not.
And the last couple of times that you were on at the end of last year.
She's my favorite writer from Staten Island.
Am I allowed to curse?
I don't know. I don't.
You wouldn't be the first. Kevin Kerr's cursed on here. Meltzer cursed on here.
He claimed that he was quoting somebody.
Well, Kerr's was quoting Torts, so that was.
Bundy has used the French word for seal. So that
I don't even know what that is.
It's okay.
Maybe I shouldn't know.
It's close.
It's close.
Sure,
it's
we'll
close.
go with that.
Yeah.
But Russ likes to give you a little bit of a hard time, so he wants to ask you, as he does, some Philadelphia things.
I don't have anything. No.
We had this discussion.
You said you need to look it up, and I was trying to get the stream set up, and I said, no, I don't have time.
Guys.
All right.
It's okay.
I had one. I had one prepared.
Intern Andrew.
And I thought
we were friends.
Wait. You have to decide if you want to acknowledge him or not, because he didn't know that Peter Forsberg
was drafted by the Flyers.
So you have to decide
apologize.
if you are willing to acknowledge him or not.
Okay.
Well, if you had asked me that on the spot, I probably wouldn't remember it either. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right. Jackie's gone. Bye, Jackie.
Fair enough.
Am I now your second favorite?
Staten Island president.
I'm not even from Staten Island.
I thought of
That's
this.
clear.
I know.
I thought of this because there's no right or wrong answer. It's up to the audience interpretation.
Okay.
Give me your dictionary definition of the word John.
I'm okay. First of all, very confused by that whole, the usage of that. I haven't heard it that often, to be honest with you.
Neither have I, and I grew up here.
But supposedly, everything's called. You can call anything and everything John.
That's correct. Yeah.
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
Jackie didn't know she was in a spelling bee all of a sudden.
I can spell it, J-A-W-N.
Yeah, you got it. Here you go. Where's the dinger, the bell?
I don't know. The smart one is John. I don't know
There you
how
go.
that works.
So I have a Philly-based question for you.
Fantastic, Russ. I can't wait.
Have you managed to find your way to Reading Terminal Market yet?
I have walked around it. I have
All
not
right.
eaten there yet.
What I would like is for you to name 3 places.
She just
at
said she
Reading
hasn't eaten there.
Oh, wait. There's the Georgian place. I don't know what it's called, but they have the Georgian food, which I
Okay.
really want to try.
Okay, that's one.
There's a steak. There's a cheesesteak place.
That is correct.
And I'm sure there's a coffee shop.
No, that's cheap. That's too cheap. I will allow for a regional delicacy. I will allow for The cheesesteak
I knew
place.
the Georgian place. I do really want to try.
How about
like,
the desserts? There's some not notorious. That's a bad word.
Some of the best desserts you've ever had.
There are some well-known dessert
Staten Island.
spots.
A well-known dessert.
Well,
They
because
need to stop at the Staten Island.
no, because of where you're located. The proximity to the location.
They don't have them in the Bronx.
They have the Amish desserts.
Oh, is there like an Amish farmers market or something?
Yeah, what's it called? I forget what it's called.
Oh, I was thinking of the other. I was thinking of
wait,
the other
you
side.
talking about that shoe fly pie?
Yeah, there you go, shoe fly pie.
Oh no, because I asked people because supposedly that's like the #1 thing pie people eat in Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it's so
We
sweet
don't
that
need
they have to shoo the flies away.
Don't bother me.
Cute.
That's where it comes from.
Cute.
Have
But
you,
I've never
I
had
was
it.
going
All right,
to the- I was
well, I
going
wanna
to
know-
the
People
other-
were telling
I was
me to
going
go to
the other
Amish
end.
country to get it, but
here's what I wanted to ask you. If you've what are your go-to spots to get food now in Philadelphia? To see what I want to see what an outsider thinks since you've been here so
there's
long.
a coffee shop by me that I really like.
Okay.
Peddlers.
Okay.
Uh,
It's a nice coffee shop.
It's a nice little coffee. Cute.
Yeah.
It's cute, easy to get to.
So let that be known, Flyers fans. If you're ever looking to grab a coffee with Jackie, let her know how much you love her work.
Just go to
Peddlers.
Peddlers.
There's a good chance I'll be there.
Yeah.
I've been to Zahav a few times.
Where?
Zahav.
I have not
Ah.
been there yet. I've heard great
Very
things.
delicious. Very delicious. I went there for my birthday this
I
year. actually.
believe it made Craig LeBand's top 10, right?
I believe it did. Philadelphia Inquirer. is
Yes,
Craig LeBand.
that's what I was going to say. There is a restaurant that made that top 10 list that I've gone to many times that I love.
What place?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I need to go there. I heard that place is
It's
fantastic.
sensational. It's small, it's upstairs,
Ant
but it's
has
fantastic.
taken me to none of these places. I'd like the record to show. All these years
Maybe
we've
we should
done
have
the
a little,
a little trip.
yeah,
A little
like
jaunt. That's a great
little
idea.
group trip.
A little
That
trip.
sounds
Little
like a
road
good.
trip.
You know
Andrew
what?
said we should have a jaunt.
That's a good business expense for the Philadelphia Inquirer. I love it.
There you go.
I don't know.
There you go.
We'll
when
see
you're,
about that.
When you're writing your story on the Snow the Goalie podcast,
Yeah, but to be honest with you, like, my go-to places are very few and far between because I'm not really here.
because you're so
that
busy
much.
and you're traveling constantly. You're probably overeat more in Voorhees than you do.
Constantly going back
I
and
do
forth.
like Saxby's in Haddonfield, actually.
Yeah.
That's my go-to place after like a practice or a morning skate to
Yeah.
go right.
That's
The
Saxby's.
vanilla bean cold brew is fantastic.
There you go.
Always
Highly
going back up to
recommend.
to Brooklyn.
Oh, thank you.
You
I'm
got
shocked.
it right. You got it right for
I'm
once.
shocked.
I was being nice.
Oh.
Well,
Very sweet of you.
Jackie Spiegel from the Philadelphia Inquirer, thank you as
Not
always.
from Staten Island.
Not from Staten Island.
Thank you as
Although,
always
No disrespect, but you know.
for coming on the show today. We always love having you here.
Thank you.
You're the best. And the one last thing I have to say to you is I hope you have the day that you deserve.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, you got it. Jackie Spiegel.
I want to point out the
Philadelphia Inquirer.
hypocrisy of Anthony saying that. On Black Friday, Anthony brought up how years ago he told me not to ask something on the show, and then I asked it because it was good content. Jackie told him a story about something that happened today, and I will not betray her trust. But we said, Ant probably shouldn't, say anything, allude to it, bring any of it up. And what does he do? He goes and does it, and now it's an inside joke, and now all the people who watch and listen to the show are like, what the hell are you talking about? And we can't tell
We
them
can't tell the
'cause
story.
We can't betray Jackie's
Will not
trust.
betray Jackie's trust. We promise.
What's that?
I promise you. I promise you we won't tell the story.
I hope that Jackie at some point finds Ant in the parking lot. I do. I'll help set it up. You got to find him in the parking lot. After betraying your trust like that, you got to get him.
Okay.
You got to get, and we'll look the other way. No one will know. It'll be totally fine. All right. Anyway, we're back.
Greg wants you to look at his shirt.
What do we got?
I saw Greg's shirt, and listen, it's one thing.
Oh,
Greg from Vineland.
he's got a
who's been-
Bobrovsky jersey
he's
on.
been commenting
T-shirt
over
on.
here.
Bobrovsky Panthers shirt.
We know
Yeah.
that he loves intern Andrew very much. And he's here wearing a Bobrovsky Panthers jersey.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well, it's not a jersey. It's
It
just
is a shirt. That counts as a jersey.
It
It
does-
has the name and the number of the
Yeah,
player
but
on
it
the
says
back. That's a
Stanley Cup
jersey.
champions on the front.
I consider it a jersey.
So it's not like it has the Panthers logo on the
I
front.
would still say it's jersey. He's got the "We Got Balls." Didn't they sell that down in the pro shop?
They did. We were going to
They
make
did.
one on our
We
own,
were
if you
going
remember.
to,
And
yeah.
then they put one out. And we were
Yeah.
like, oh well,
Yeah.
we can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. We got to do picks.
Do we have to? It's 10. We have 10 and a half minutes. It's a long time until puck drop.
Okay, all right. Well, you
We
want
have
to keep
time.
going? We
Yeah.
can keep going.
Yeah.
Bundy should be here momentarily.
Well, I would like to do a really quick plug here. We did a regular episode of Snow the Goalie because we love the people who watch the show, listen to the show. It has been probably 2.5, maybe 3 weeks of people saying, "Are you guys done doing regular episodes? Are you guys only going to do the Press Row show anymore?" Blah, 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 blah. And I realized after I got done being angry that it was out of love. And so what did we do? We got our keisters down here earlier than normal.
Well,
And we did a show in the Snow the Goalie studio.
Should I explain to this audience?
I guess you can.
Should I? I mean, or do you think it's?
I think a lot of them
repeating
will.
it?
I think a lot of them will find it and will find their way to that episode if they didn't join live. But go ahead if you want.
So the reason we hadn't done a podcast episode that was separate from the Press Row show was because I was my day job that was not covering sports had to do with marketing. I couldn't do a live show of Snow the Goalie during my work hours. And so because of that, we were kind of limited to either, hey, we could do one like really early in the morning before my day starts, or do it at night. And neither of those times were really good for Bundy because Bundy doesn't like to wake up really early in the morning. And then, you got 4 kids at home at night and you got to get them to bed. And so that really wasn't working at night. So my schedule was limited and caused us to really not be able to do it during the week. We could maybe have done it on the weekend, but
Hate mail to Anthony
that doesn't really make
SanFilippo,
sense.
the ultimate complicating factor.
yeah. But now, newsflash, and I put this out earlier on the Snow the Goalie. Starting December 15th, I am having a new role where I can leave I'm no longer going to be at my marketing job any longer. Because I will be full time with the company that owns On Pattison, where I cover the Flyers and the Phillies. And the full-time job I have there will actually be for a website called PhillyDaily.com. The same company. I'll still be writing on Pattison. On Pattison is the sports arm, but I will be the news editor for Philly Daily. And part of the deal with Philly Daily is I can do daytime live broadcasts of Snow the Goalie. So they're going to allow it. We're going to be able to do it. And so it was nice to finally get into the studio, be able to do it, and starting, the 15th, it'll be much more regular. And on top of that, because that is now my full-time job and I no longer have to worry about conflicts with marketing, I'll be in Voorhees. Maybe not every day, but I'll at least be over there twice a week kind of thing. Unless there's not really long weeks where they don't play other than February, right, during the Four Nations. But I'll go over there a couple times a week just to kind of check in, talk to some players,
I feel like we're going to get a lot of this.
Not answering any of your questions.
Might get some of that.
And if and when that happens and we do the Press Row show, Bundy will probably pop around and say,
What happened there?
and then after that happens, some people might
That
call.
silly podcast.
Yes. So,
And one of these days, if you ever do get a question answered, I can promise you intern Andrew's going to say.
all good. So anyway, that's the long story about it, and it's good to be back. It's good to have a nice comeback for Snow the Goalie, and I'm excited for us going forward.
Good.
Now can we do picks? Did I eat up enough time there?
You ate up a lot of time there.
All right.
No, it's a good thing. I'm actually very much looking forward to you being down there. I think it's always just good for the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure is.
People think I'm nuts. Like, we had that meeting with the Flyers not that long ago, and I said, it's an coming down here is, on one hand, it's a blessing. We love this. We love the people. We love doing the show. But for me, my commute stinks.
Yeah.
Yours does not.
No, me and Bundy are the
You're a Delco guy. Bundy.
is right over the bridge in Jersey.
What's yours? Is it like a half hour?
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same with Bundy.
And for me, it's an hour. Like today, I came in extra early. It was an hour 20.
Yeah.
And I guess I just never thought about the fact that, it's not mile-wise far, but it's 422, it's 76, it's 476, 95. It took an hour 20, and I'm like, man, I spent just as much time down here. I spent almost 8 hours down here today. I'll probably spend, 6 on a normal game night between driving down, doing this, and then driving home. It's a lot of hours, but you know what? We do it because we love the people. And I'll tell you who loves the people maybe more than anybody. And that's this beaut over here, this absolute beast of a man. This guy with a heart of gold. He's got a heart of gold and a magic stick somewhere in his broom closet. Bundy's here.
The broom closet.
Bundy, we're just waxing poetic about you and how much we love the fans.
Are you standing like Drew McIntyre?
That's exactly right. CM Punk knows exactly what he's doing.
What are we talking about, boys? Like we've been, feel like we've been talking since 4:40 today.
He was plugging his new gig, which we're obviously very excited about.
Oh yeah.
We had some fun with Jackie Spiegel. She was our guest today. We had some good fun with her, right, Russ?
How's Jackie doing? Is she her and Torch, like, is she like the new Anthony of the year?
What the hell are you talking about, Jackie? She wants us to put a T-shirt in the Snow the Goalie store.
Really?
That says, "What the hell are you talking about, Jack?"
Yep.
Oh, that would be a great T-shirt.
I know it would be a great T-shirt. It would be a great T-shirt.
Yo, by the way, Adam B., I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you.
So Torch just hates media.
I am not funny enough for that.
Well, he is already on
like
Netflix. Nate Bargatze.
Oh, that's right. When is he in
Nate Bargatze's coming to Wells Fargo Center, but not till August 8th.
I'll tell you what. When Nate Bargatze's here next, somebody in this building needs to get us set up.
We will do. I will be on that. Like,
there needs to be
white
an
on
episode.
rice.
He needs to come on the show.
Yes, we will do a live show from down here, maybe that day or something.
I'll put some gray in my hair.
And we'll just get him for 10 minutes. It's all we need, just to do, and not really to talk about anything other than the fact that you're his doppelganger.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I have lots of questions.
All right, let's get to it. We haven't done picks yet, Bundy. So why don't we do picks?
Okay, want me to start?
Well, you
already gave you mine. So yeah, I'm. Florida lost last game. Just know from having good teams in my past, we really made an effort to never lose 2 in a row. Stanley Cup champion in this situation. They're a heavy favorite though, which I saw. I don't look at lines usually, but I just saw that. I'm going Florida 4-2 tonight. The Flyers 4 days off has something to do with it.
Yeah, and I said that pregame. That was one of the things I said to Jackie. It's like, you know, they're playing well. They've been really good, but sometimes when you're going really well, and then you have 4 days off, and then you've got to come back against a really good team, it's going to take a minute to kind of get going, and that good team might bury you before you have a chance.
Yep.
So,
let me go next, because I know that I sometimes get accused of,
that's fine.
You know, false accusations.
Yeah.
I'm Fedotov is in net, right?
Iron Giant.
We know how much I love the Iron Giant. 4 days offshore, but those are 4 days that these boys have been chomping at the bit. They have been waiting for this moment. Panthers don't belong in Philadelphia. I'm taking your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers in a high-scoring contest. 4-3.
Okay. I'm going to go with Florida. I actually think it's a close game. I do. I think the Flyers are going to be able to play defensively. They'll get their act together at some point to kind of hang around the game, but I don't know if they'll have enough to overcome Florida. They played them well the last time they played.
I didn't have Florida winning this game by 4-2.
Yeah, and that's probably
it could be an empty net goal, right?
And I think it's one less than that. My pick all along was going to be Florida 3-2 over the Flyers. I just think they're going to struggle to score early. This kid Spencer Knight has played really well in goal.
Yep.
For Florida when he's had an opportunity, and he's in again with Bob being out with paternity leave. So, intern, what do you got for us?
I have the Flyers 5-4.
Wow, we're split again. Hey, the last time we split with me and Bundy going one way and Russ and Andrew going the other way, how did that turn out?
I don't know.
I think Bundy and I were correct. So
I do not remember.
The old veterans are going to do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Old vets
old
again.
wily vets.
Yeah. So.
Well, hey, listen, if you're bored out there, if you're like, hey, I don't want to listen to the play-by-play, I would rather listen to some well-informed hockey talk and maybe a little bit of something else. If you haven't done so already, check out, we did a new episode of Snow the Goalie about an hour and a half ago. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, on X, and wherever you get your podcast shortly. It's not there yet, but it will be. I'll upload it during the period. It is an episode that you don't want to miss, and we had great production today. Great production value in the office.
In the studio.
Well, we're calling it the office. We're setting up shop. That is now the Snow the Goalie studio, the Snow the Goalie office. Anyway, go check that out. Guys, we will be back first intermission, second intermission, and postgame. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Snow the Goalie. We will talk to all of you during the first intermission here on the Press Row Show. Get ready for Intern Andrew's stat of the night. That'll be coming up, plus Intern Andrew trivia in the second intermission. All right, now it's time for us to go. We'll talk to all of you very soon. he's the Iron Giant in our hearts, not the Iron Giant in the first period. Panthers lead 2-0 after one. Very easily could have been 3-0 had it not been for the helpful post, Bundy.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been a double post inside the last minute for Florida. Flyers had some chances too. You can tell Florida, like you watch them and you can tell that they're a team that had a deep run, won the Stanley Cup, because there's still times in the game where they're really loose and they play like that because they know that they can overcome a lot of their those little plays because they are a good team. They have high skill. Flyers weren't awful. I would like to see both those goals back, to be honest with you. I mean, the first one was that Rodriguez, he came in, it ended up going 5-hole on a short side. It wasn't even a breakaway, it was just a play to the short side from the side of the net.
Forster falls over.
Forster fell and he tried to push the puck back to the goalie. And then
Sealer, I thought, was a little bit late to react there.
He went to give Forster the out without realizing that he was going to fall. And he was trying to give him like an open passing lane. But when Forster fell, he tried to push the puck, and Sealer was too far over to get back to the middle of the ice on time. That's what happened in that goal. The second one was just a redirection off. It looked like it might have hit the top of his blocker and carried him back down into the net. Yeah. Not the best period for Fedotov. We've seen him play better than that of late. But Florida, as I said, I talked about my keys tonight. One of them was the start of this game. Flyers 4-0-1 in their last 5. They're playing good hockey. Did the break impact them at all? Did it leave the Flyers a little bit rusty? There's no doubt it left them a little bit rusty, but I did feel like they got a little bit of their legs late in that period, so we'll see what happens at the start of the second period.
Not exactly a great second period team, though. I guess the real thing is the Flyers tend to show up for that final frame. It's going to be a matter of if you can't chip away at the lead in the second. You hope, obviously, they can get at least one back. Don't create a bigger deficit going into the third, which, especially for a team that's had 4 nights off, you would think that by the third they'll have their legs back. And to your point, they started to look more like themselves late in that period. But the first 15 or so minutes, they just did not look like a team that was ready.
They were rusty, and that's what the layoff did. And, we were saying it's hard to guard against that because you can't manufacture the days you get off. They played 5 games in 8 days, which is just an incredible amount of hockey. And then you're going to have to, at some point, get a break in the schedule. And that was one of the little breaks in the schedule that allowed them to work on their power play, their penalty kill, their 5-on-5 systems. Any of that's always good to have extra practice time, but didn't translate in the first, and a little bit of that had to do with poor goaltending.
I'm going to throw this over. We're going to go to intern Andrew for the stat of the night. And then I want to bring it back because there's a conversation you missed out on pregame around Jamie Drysdale. And I'd like to get there and get your thoughts as well. But before we get there, we're going to go to a popular segment here on the show, and that, of course, is the Stat of the Night, brought to you by intern Andrew. He is our crack research team here at Snow the Goalie and at the Press Row Show. Intern Andrew, how are you on this fine evening?
I'm doing great. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing great, Andrew.
That's good to hear. So I know you guys chatted a little bit earlier about the Four Nations face-off, and the roster's getting finalized finally. Konechny, Sanheim, and Ristolainen, the 3 representatives for the Flyers. Well, coincidentally, the team that the Flyers are playing tonight, the Florida Panthers, lead the entire NHL with 8 players that are going to play in this thing, which most in the NHL by any one team. I found it interesting. There's only 2 teams in the NHL that don't have a single player playing in this. You want to take a shot at who they are?
Well, it would just be guessing because I wouldn't really.
Did you try this in trivia time?
If you don't have to guess,
2 teams don't have a player in.
Look at the worst teams. It's San Jose.
I would have thought that. I'll just give them to you.
Did the Caps?
The Capitals are one of the 2 teams. They're in first place, and they don't have a player in this.
Hey, that's you're getting one right. Okay.
Well, one reason is they don't have any Russian team.
That's also a good point. Yeah.
All right.
The other team is.
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
No.
Washington and.
Let's think this one through. Is it an Eastern or Western Conference team?
West.
Chicago.
No.
Calgary.
No.
Edmonton.
No.
Winnipeg.
No. You don't think McDavid's playing?
McDavid's playing.
No,
you got Vancouver's got a couple guys.
Quinn Hughes playing Team USA.
Utah.
No.
Not the LA Kings?
No.
Oh, it must be Anaheim then.
No. They have one guy in there.
All right, well, I've guessed almost every team. We're going to guess every team in the
It's the Kraken.
Seattle.
Seattle and the Capitals.
Real fast. Can I ask you a question, though?
Sure.
Would you like it if you're Florida, if you have 8 guys going to play in
No.
that?
No.
Okay.
I don't care if it's the Olympics because you're actually, like I told you, if you're going to play a tournament, you have to get more than an attaboy as your reward. If you're going to shut the league down for a Four Nations tournament when there's at least 3 other countries that should be in it, and then you could probably make a case for Germany or Switzerland, it's ridiculous. So you win the tournament, you're like, attaboy, great job. No, I'm glad you just had 3 weeks off. Good luck getting your karma back with your NHL team.
I was just curious.
Well, you got the answer. Pretty hardcore.
Well, and also what it increases the risk of injury, right? Like it's one thing when you send one guy, but like here's the benefit, I guess, right? And this is actually good because this is another thing that we didn't really get your thoughts on that much pregame. We talked about it a little bit on Snow the Goalie at 4 o'clock or whatever this afternoon. An actual episode of Snow the Goalie. Go check it out wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. The risk of injury is there, although I'd argue that it's probably a lower risk of injury as a mid-season tournament versus if you had done it in the summer or you'd done it preseason. But would that be a big part of the concern on your standpoint that like eight players, like the chance of injury is significantly higher?
You have the best talent in the NHL, less the Czechia and the Russians, right? If you take those two teams and eliminate them, you have the best players in the league playing in a post-mid-season Four Nations Cup. I don't understand the point of it. There's no point to it at all. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, as a matter of fact. I'll just flat out say it. But it's money. There's money to be made. It's a money grab from the league. I mean, and that's what they're doing.
I said pregame. It feels like an answer to the NBA's in-season tournament. But the difference is, with the NBA's in-season tournament, that has a financial incentive for the winner. And those are still regular season games.
Second dumbest thing I've ever heard was that NBA tournament.
Sure.
That's maybe that's right
but
there.
But in a league where the regular season doesn't matter, you are kind of adding an additional incentive to those games mattering. Whereas this, there's money, right? There is. But it's not.
So
it's not a prestigious.
Basically,
it's not a prestigious.
The NBA is trying
tournament.
to get guys that are making $40 million to compete harder.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly what they're doing, and that is an absolute horrible message to your fan base and to your players. Horrible.
I think that so we're not going to go down the NBA rabbit hole here. I think that if you're trying to emulate what they do with the Champions League in Europe, and they do one in other parts of the globe as well. They have the CONCACAF Champions League. What?
Bundy just pulled up Eric's thing.
If you want, listen,
the golden at bat.
If you want to listen to Snow the Goalie earlier, our main show for the week, we talk about the golden bat and how it plays into the stupidity of the Four Nations Cup.
Yes. I will say, though, I think that if you were going to do that, I would almost rather see the NHL do what I thought the NBA should have done. Open it up, have the NHL, the KHL, and maybe a couple of other leagues make a Champions League. Like, if you're going to stop the season, have the best club teams. Have the best of the NHL, the best of the KHL, and maybe pick 2 other leagues. And it doesn't have to be equal representation because in the Champions League it's not. The EPL gets more teams. The Bundesliga, Serie A, like they get more teams than some of the smaller leagues. Let's do that.
Would that actually be competitive?
No, I don't think it would. But I'll tell you what, it would certainly move the needle to have the KHL, for example, send their 4 best teams. And if you're going to play it where some games are in the U.S., some are in Canada, some might be in Russia, and you play it like that, I think it would be a needle mover. I don't think those KHL teams
then you got to do
would
that.
Beat the best of the best.
You have to do that in early September. Then, if you're going to play a tournament like that, you got to play it in early September.
But like, I'd be a fan of that. I would be okay with that. That would be a pretty cool tournament idea. The Four Nations thing just doesn't do it for me. I don't get it.
I have no interest in watching it. I don't care because nobody's winning anything. Yeah. You just win the right to say your country won the Four Nations, and 2 of the best countries aren't there. It's not even fair. It's not right. It's dumb. That's all I got to say on it.
So you personally, when you were a little bit younger, would you have wanted to play in it or no?
I played in I wasn't on an NHL team, but I played on the '94 Olympic team, and I was slated to play on the '98 team in Nagano, but there had to be an injury.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of on standby, and then it was Adam Foote who was hurt, and Amir Clark and Wayne Cashman called me up, said, "Listen, if he can't play, you're going with Desjardins." So I was like, wow, that would be pretty cool because to play with the pros. So yeah, but it was Olympics. I would have loved to have gone again. Especially with guys like Gretzky on your team and the likes of those guys. So, but it didn't happen. But I would have been more than happy to play an Olympic schedule. Okay. If you're going to go for the Olympics, fine. I don't love it, but if you're going to do it, go for the Olympics. This just makes no sense. You're stopping the season for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Good talk.
We were on the same page there. You're going? All right, bye, Intern Andrew. We love and appreciate it. We'll talk to you second intermission for trivia time with Intern Andrew. In the meantime, Bundy, I was saying that pregame, one of the things that you kind of missed out on, but we had a conversation about this. I think, do we have this conversation on the podcast? We might have, about Jamie Drysdale and about the fact that...
Where is Jamie Drysdale?
He's on IR, but he has been...
But do we know anything about the injury?
Apparently, he's been practicing. Ant said on the regular episode of Snow the Goalie that he didn't believe the injury was ever really that serious, and that perhaps, are the Flyers kind of doing what Tampa did back in the day, where you have a somewhat healthy player that you're just kind of manipulating the player management portion of it. You're not really trying to manipulate the cap and hold Drysdale out for a playoff run or whatever, in the same way that
so is it safe to say
Tampa Bay did with Kucherov. But like,
is he? So he's you think he's healthy?
I think Drysdale's healthy. I do not believe that based on the information that has been out there and the information that has come across the Snow the Goalie team, that Jamie Drysdale is significantly injured. It sure feels like the hope had been that they would get a better look at Emil Andre, they'd get a look at Helge Grund until Cam York came back. To me, I almost wonder, does this team feel like Jamie Drysdale looked so bad, and they know that he looks bad, and that maybe the coach doesn't want to play him a ton, and it would be a PR disaster if he came off of IR, you had to send Emil Andre down or whomever, and then you're putting him in and maybe he ends up getting scratched.
Yeah,
I've said this for a while, though. Like, the Flyers made it sound like when Drysdale went out, it was going to be a short-term thing.
That's what I thought, like a couple games.
Now, in fairness, they've done this. They did this last year with Risto, and then Risto was gone for months. They did this initially with Ryan Ellis, and he hasn't been heard from since. I'm not saying that, like, there's a fake injury here or whatever. Just haven't gotten the feeling that the Drysdale thing was ever that serious, and it's almost like they were kind of enjoying getting a look at some of the other guys. Because Drysdale looked like Garbaggio when he was playing to start the season, and we have to be fair. You
can tell he's got good offensive skill, like when he got the puck on the power play, but his decision-making and his defensive capabilities are substandard for what this league is. And if you're and it's Torts, man, I don't know. If again, it's starting to become more of a developing story, because you got to remember, this is a huge return for the trade that was made. Right,
he was the focal point of the trade.
Focal point of the trade.
You traded your best North American prospect for this guy, who had an injury history, who missed time again last year, who got injured this year. We thought that there were times early in the season where he looked like a player who was actively avoiding contact, as if he was afraid of getting hurt again. The flashes that we saw of him as like the quarterback of PP1. Like, that didn't even look that great. He wouldn't put the puck on net on the power play.
He had a refusal to shoot the puck a little bit. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on this development, Russ, because I haven't known anything really about it except for the fact that he's on IR. But the fact that he's skating, is he? Again, like, has there been an update that he's getting close? That's what you need to hear from the team. Oh yeah, he's skating. He should be ready to go next week. We haven't heard that.
Here's one other thing that we'll say. We'll put this out here since Ant isn't here. Ant had a personal reason they had to leave. It was a planned personal thing. We told him that we wouldn't get into details of that. It is a personal commitment that he had made that he needed to go attend to. He is okay. Since Ant's not here, allow me to be the stirrer of the shite. I wouldn't be surprised if it's at some point it comes out that Jamie Drysdale's name has been mentioned in trade rumors. Now, again, it's not to say that Jamie Drysdale is actively on the block. It doesn't mean the Flyers have a trade coming imminently. I would not be surprised if at some point between now and the trade deadline, you find out that Jamie Drysdale has been floated out there to teams, and that teams are just as, like, they have eyes, and they saw the same thing that we did.
With Drysdale. Yeah.
Like, what value does he have right now? There's not a lot. It'd be one thing if he if he was at least producing on the power play and then got hurt, right? But then you wouldn't trade him because he was the focal point of the trade for Gauthier. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. One we'll keep updated with everybody on. I don't, again, we didn't know it was. Story was that he was injured. So, and as far as we know, he's still injured.
Sure.
All right. Good. For making sure we're clear on that.
He's still injured.
I always say, Russ, walk 1,000 miles on another man's injuries before you judge anything. And until
I have 4 kids. That's an injury enough.
I know. I hear you.
And you do too.
Same thing. Yeah.
And you
I
do
get
too.
it.
You get it.
I get it.
You get it. I think I tore the labrum in my shoulder playing soccer in high school. I never got that fixed. Let me tell you something, Bundy.
Was that when you were diving?
I went to go make a tackle, and I got pissed off at a guy from Schuylkill Haven, and I went to go lay him out, and he stutter stepped, and I landed like that, and my shoulder still pops. Listen, I'm not saying all heroes wear capes, but I am saying that I was a hard-nosed defenseman, just like my pal Bundy.
All right.
You know who wasn't a defenseman?
Anthony
SanFilippo. He'd be a striker, wouldn't he? He'd be a forward.
People were asking where Anthony
Cherry
went.
picking for
Anthony
goals.
had to go. He had a personal issue. It's nothing serious, but he had to get out of here tonight early, so he'll be back
right.
next show. He was here. He did the pregame and our main show earlier, but he had to run. If anybody's wondering where he was.
I think they have Kolosov in net right now.
What?
Yeah, Fedotov's on the bench.
They are starting Alexei Kolosov.
Sure about that? I can't turn around. My next two
Fedotov's 82, isn't he? He's on the bench.
I thought Erson was active now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Urson.
Urson's in the pipes. Okay.
It is. Why did Greg tell me it was Kolosov? Now I'm getting all turned around.
Turn around. We're waiting to see the number.
It's 35.
It is Kolosov. Okay, I was right.
All right. Every now and then I fall apart.
Well, that didn't take long. We never even talked about it. Hey, guys.
We will be back during second intermission, intern Andrew's trivia time, and of course postgame. I will let you know the podcast that we did earlier should be hitting the podcast feed during the second period. So everybody go and make sure you download that. We will talk to all of you. Second intermission. Bundy, how excited are you?
Great. Really excited.
What do you think the score is going to be when we come back second intermission?
3-2 Florida.
3-2 Florida.
Yeah.
Flyers going to get 2.
Yeah.
Intern Andrew, what do you think?
3
Bundy, I feel like I need oxygen. Welcome into the Press Row Show.
You were right about a high-scoring game.
By God, to quote good old Jim Ross, by God, we've got a slobber knocker on our hands tonight, Bundy.
We got a slobber knocker on our hands. Yeah, I mean, this is what Florida does sometimes. They get really complacent. They won the cup. They think they're, a 3-goal lead, 2-goal lead's good enough. No, and they were just as sloppy a mess as any team in the league the last 10, 12 minutes of that period. The Flyers' goals against tonight have not been good goals. The Barkov one, with the exception where he got that pass out front and he eluded Kolosov with the backhand. That was a great play, but the other goals, man, they got to be stopped. As for the Flyers, Owen Tippett, you hit the net, you score goals. Two of them in a row. Two in about, 40 seconds maybe?
How many times have we said this season, if only the guy could get the puck on net? So the first one that he had was a nice feed from Mishkov, who in the first period we were kind of like, not a whole lot going on with Matvei Mishkov tonight. Second period, he was all over the place. Picked up a power play point. I looked at it. I was like, maybe get the 19-year-old in. The second assist is that first goal to Tippett. Nice find.
Yep.
Solid execution. That second goal that Tippett had, he gets kind of wiped out at center ice.
Tried to make a pass.
Yeah.
He tried to seam a pass through the skates of the Florida player, and it didn't go. And then he got his own kind of rebound from the pass and was able to find Twine past Spencer Knight. Yeah, he hasn't been
individual effort.
He hasn't been very good either. I mean, Flyers, if you're setting up for this third period, I'm telling the Flyers, shoot everything you can at this guy because he's a little bit shaky. Their defense have been shaky too. They've not got the pucks out of the zone as efficiently as you want. Aaron Ekblad had a really rough period for Florida. Kind of was responsible for taking that 4-2 deficit off the board with that horrible turnover where Mishkov got it and threw the one-timer over to Tippett. It was a good period by the Flyers. I mean, and again, the only time they got themselves in trouble, I thought that period was when Florida went on the power play. And technically, I hate that goal was taken off the board. Like, just a fan of the sport, like if that's a Flyer goal, I wouldn't want that taken off the board either. But I guess they called goalie interference was enough. Yeah.
I mean, no. Listen, we're not going to skew negative here. In fairness, there was that call. There was the double post in the first period. Like, this could be 6-4 right now, but you take what you can.
Yeah.
And you take the puck luck on the post, and you take the luck or whatever you want to call it on the goalie interference call. But 4-4, you faced a 2-0 deficit after one. I believe, they're leading in shots now for the night.
Yep, 22-20 shots on goal for the Flyers.
It is a sizable uptick in, I would say, the overall quality of the period, but I'd say the effort seriously looked like it was there. We said that it was going to be, with the 4-day layoff, it was possible that the Flyers would get their legs under them later in this game. The second period hasn't exactly been their best period all season. They really turned it on.
Sure was that period.
Yeah. Were you surprised at all by the decision to pull Fedotov after one?
No. He doesn't have enough money in the bank, as you'll say, with the coaches for him to be allotted another period after the way he played. I don't think Torts liked the second goal at all, and I think that was enough for him to give him the hook in between periods. And it worked. The team responded. There's no doubt about it. It absolutely worked. They had a lot more fire, a lot more vinegar in that period, I thought, than they did in the first. And you could tell that layoff had something to do with it. But they're going to have to keep pressing here. Florida, as I said, when they're really good, they're really, really good. But when they go off the rails sometimes, they do go off the rails. I mean, there's times they've lost like 4 in a row this year where they were getting absolutely spanked in games, giving up a ton of goals. So I think the Flyers have to keep that in mind as well, that this team Florida does not lock down games as often as you'd think for a team that just won the Stanley Cup.
Now it's a good time, I think, to bring on intern Andrew for what people love. They love this point.
They do.
Trivia time with intern Andrew. It's a segment that people love, Bundy. I don't know if you knew this or not. It is a fan favorite, some would say. Intern.
I don't want to put pressure on you here, Russ. I think this is the first time you're the betting favorite to get the question right.
Okay.
So it must be a young guy question.
Well, I know how much you love trades.
Oh, geez.
So if we're talking Flyers, Panthers, I have to do it. March of 2022, the Flyers send the captain Claude Giroux to Florida. In exchange, Flyers got, ironically, Owen Tippett.
Well, it's not ironic.
Well, I mean, he had a great period.
Yeah.
2 goals. 2023 third rounder, 2024 first rounder. The Panthers, in addition to receiving Giroux, got a 2022 fifth rounder and what 2 players?
I don't know. I thought it was just thought it was Giroux and Giroux and Tippett. Giroux for Tippett in the first rounder. That's what I thought it was.
The two guys, one of them is a former Flyers first-round pick that I think a lot of people had high hopes for that ended up apparently not working out.
And he went to Florida.
In that trade?
Neither of them are in the NHL now anymore. But
Was one the germ Herman Rubtsov? Herman
Yes.
Rubtsov?
Rubtsov, he ended up getting in part of that trade.
That wasn't Vorobiev wasn't in that one though. That
No.
they were in so it was Rubtsov and
a couple of people have gotten it. I don't know if they're cheating
I don't
or
even
not.
have the comments pulled up over here. So that was not a cheat.
I wouldn't
Our
know.
friend Anthony, who has the glasses, you can see when he's cheating. I did not. This is usually when he
Anthony's
starts typing
Anthony's
away.
a cheater, and then he glances at it.
I love the
See,
fact
I
that I love that you call him out on it too.
Yeah, I actually can look at some of the questions here, and I'm not going to just spit it out because I would not get.
All right, so I had Herman.
I would not
Rubtsov.
get obviously Connor Bunneman.
You just blew it.
You weren't going to get Connor Bunneman.
turning.
I was gonna ask you a question about if he was a center or not, and okay.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, I know Bunneman was. He was a center. And he had a few interesting moments in his brief time with the Flyers where people were like, maybe he's a fourth liner. Maybe. Okay.
Neither
You got
guy's
Rubtsov, though. I knew that you were. You know
germ.
trades.
The
You know
germ.
trades.
one of the absolute worst picks
Jesus.
the Flyers have ever made.
And the best part is that
Ever.
Hextall double, triple, quadrupled down on him as a prospect up
Yeah.
until being relieved of his duties.
Yeah.
Like, believe that Rubtsov was going to be like not a franchise cornerstone, but whatever the next level down was.
Okay.
How'd that work out?
That's usually a journeyman in today's league.
More like journeyman Rubtsov.
Yeah.
That was awful.
That was a good trivia, though, but I didn't
feel
realize
sick.
those two players went as well.
How you do?
Didn't work out with Florida.
You learned something.
Yeah.
Just like I learned that Peter Forsberg was drafted by the Flyers.
You're never living that one down.
It's all
That's
right.
Hey,
I'll take it in stride.
We do need to have a conversation, though, and it's something that that Ant is going to have to weigh in on when he's back. For those who missed it in the first intermission, Ant had a personal thing that he had to tend to. He is fine. His family is fine. It was a somewhat planned thing. He'll be back. Not tonight, but he'll be back another night. We have to have the conversation about intern Andrew because last year, intern Andrew broke the internet when he came here dressed as an elf.
Yes.
And he dropped the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," but he did his own version of it.
You can
And-
do that again.
And
Same
I think
one.
it really is what took intern Andrew from the lovable.
Remember, he didn't want anything to do with that?
He wanted nothing to do. He didn't want to dress
He's like, I'm
up.
not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Russ, I'm not dressing as an elf.
Remember that? And then he dressed like an elf, and that changed everything that day.
Bundy, I'm not dressing as an elf. I'm not. I'm going to
And
do my.
there might have been a couple of F words in there too that he threw
there
at
were.
us. There was.
A lot of-
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
You were mad last year.
I
Not dressing up like an elf. I'm going to be an elf.
There's another one. Maybe our fans can answer. They just mentioned that other kid that we picked too, another first round gem, O'Brien. Whatever
Jay O'Brien. Jay O'Brien was part of the deal.
Whatever-
that was
whatever
the Frost,
happened to
was that
him?
the same? That was the Frost, Farabee, and O'Brien. I think was that the same move? They took Jay O'Brien, and he was what 18 at the time or whatever.
Well, they're all 18.
I just said what.
The draft.
Some 18-year-olds, come and play in the NHL, and some never amount to anything. But O'Brien was supposed to be like that was the guy. Wasn't he one of the? Wasn't that the pick for in the Shen trade, the Braden Shen trade? Am I crazy? What are you seeing? What are you trying to
Look
do?
at this. This actually, I'm loving this.
Oh, reindeer.
Get those antlers on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, a red nose.
I can't just wear the same elf costume.
Oh wait.
I still have it in my closet.
That's my elf costume, by the way. I paid for that.
That's a fair point. But
Wait,
you said you were going to.
Yeah,
so
well,
Hold
I
on.
did. It's
Time
my
out.
elf costume. I want it back when this 10 years over.
I'm at a second.
I will bring it my last day.
If he dresses as a reindeer,
Yes. See, look at Andrew Fawcett even knows. Yeah. Yes, he did. He got. Where'd he go?
Right here.
did Andrew get reimbursed for the costume?
Yeah, there.
It was there. There it is.
He did. Yeah.
He did.
You're a man of your word. I'll give you that.
If he dresses as a reindeer, is he like a reindeer that wears like shorts over top? You remember back in the day, Terrell Owens liked to wear the tights on the practice field, but Andy Reid didn't like seeing T.O.'s package, so he'd make him wear the shorts over top. Now, we're gonna just assume for
Really?
intern Andrew.
I
Yeah.
never heard that
You didn't
story.
know that?
No, I didn't
Oh yeah,
know
it made Andy Reid uncomfortable if guys ran around in tights, right? But the compression pants, but didn't wear the shorts. Presumably it was package related. I don't know what's the other reason that you wouldn't let a guy just run around in the tights, you know? Andy was feeling, it had been a while since. It doesn't matter.
It was a package deal.
Oh. So if we're just going to give intern Andrew the benefit of the doubt here. Do we allow him to wear human clothes over the reindeer costume, or does he have to wear like the full onesie? We might learn more about intern Andrew than we want to if we put him in a onesie.
Or I'd probably put them on over clothes, right?
Well, you got lots of time to check him out.
Then you'd
so
have like
start hitting
then you'd be a lumpy
start hitting
reindeer
that
though.
spirit of Halloween there. It's still open.
If you're wearing like a sweater and pants and everything, and then you put the reindeer over top, then you're a lumpy reindeer.
Who cares?
Mike Boots says full onesie,
Yeah.
and Mike will be up here too. He'll come to see intern Andrew dressed as a reindeer.
Well, here's the thing, Bundy. I may not have that much time because we may have to do it earlier this year.
Don't we have a game on the 21st?
But I thought that you weren't going to be here.
Not that game. 21st, I'll be here.
21st, I might not be. Well, I might be. I don't know.
Okay.
It all depends.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
C-Mac wants to see him dress up like an Oompa Loompa. That has nothing to do with Christmas.
That's not even seasonal.
C-Mac, what are we talking? What are we doing? What are we doing? Here we go. Jordan checks in and says Bundy, Russ, and Ant should wear elf costumes. Andrew is Santa.
Imagine Ant in that elf outfit.
Ant,
Like a super tight one.
he's like the senior elf.
Yeah.
Ant.
I'm the oldest one here.
He's Papa
but-
Elf. He's Bob Newhart.
Yeah, he is.
Ow! Hold on a second. The intern knows who Bob Newhart is.
He didn't know that the Flyers drafted
Great.
Forsberg.
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
Yeah.
I'm actually, you know what? He might have gained back a little bit of credibility. today.
You weren't even born then, were you?
No.
Not even close.
Greg Mack votes for full onesie. Jay Grebby thinks that Andrew should be the Heat Miser.
I like Heat Miser. That's a good call.
Jack in the Box
What about
from the
Baby
Island
New
of
Year?
Misfit Toys.
No.
Well, that's around New Year's.
Well, Baby New Year would be good.
We're not
too.
putting him in a diaper up here until New Year's at the very earliest.
No, I don't. The Flyers don't play until like January 4th here. I don't think.
Mike D says Bundy. Russ was trying to talk hockey. That Brian pick was a killer. I guess Mike D wants us to get back here. Allison though with a good point here. Cindy Lou Who. We can like give you a little piggy tails.
So now you're giving me a gender reassignment.
Well,
this is
it might be a reassignment. It might not. We're not judging you up
This
here.
is
Intern
way
Andrea.
off the rails. Now I have to dress like a female.
Intern Andrea. We don't know.
You
It's all right.
You can tell Titan Flyer where we are.
Oh, okay. Says, I know you've mentioned 100 times, but where are you located? Don't usually pay attention because I'm in North Carolina. Oh! You come up, section 121 or 221. You go to the glass doors, you take the private elevator, you tell them you're coming up to the sports book, and you wander your way up here. We've had a lot of people come up tonight and
Yeah.
say hey and all that.
We always do. Every night people come up and say hello to us.
That's exactly
We got
right.
a big third period coming up. 4-4 game.
Here, let's go to Flyer Spin Doctor. Says Mishkov versus defending champs. 3 assists. Celebrini getting obliterated 7-0 after 2 by the other Florida team. Just saying.
I put nothing in that.
Well, so I know that a lot of
Nothing.
times you look at it and you say, especially about a young guy, there's the idea that like, okay, maybe the Panthers have kind of like let their foot off the gas. They've been sloppy tonight, all that. Maybe you take the Flyers team for granted, 4 days off, all that. How impressive or how much stock do you put in the fact that Mishkov has 3 points tonight?
Pretty good, darn good.
Against a damn good team.
Yeah, I
Reigning
mean,
champs. Like,
The puck follows Mishkov around. A good example was that play where he sent the one-time pass over to Tippett. That puck
that was
fell
great.
on the ice when Ekblad barbecued it, and the puck finds right on the stick of Mishkov. Just one of those guys. That's like when you talk about Kucherov. Kucherov was a guy when he was at the top of his game, the puck would just find his stick, and that's something you can't teach. There's no way to explain it except that it just seems to happen to a certain allotment of players, and it appears that Mishkov is going to be that player for most of his career.
it's just wild. Was his first assist of the night is the one that he had cross ice that landed right on the tape of Farabee, right, and then snuck across on the Forster goal, right? And when Mishkov cross ice to the far post onto Farabee's tape, and then it came across, and Forster was the one who rammed it home. That was the play where I was just like, because you look at the traffic in front of the net, and the puck, I think, skid through the Panthers player.
Yeah,
And it's just like the vision there is one thing, and the execution is something totally different.
And to make it happen is a whole different thing, right?
At 19, like
Yeah.
we are not like the fanboy types, right? And not the fanboy type, intern Andrew fanboy, but the rest of us, objective. There are just certain things that you have to look at with this kid and say, like, there is a damn good player there. He might not always be the best at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
But he's 19, adjusting to a new league, and he does not look overwhelmed by the moment.
He takes things as they come to him. I think the one thing with him is he understands that he's not going to be dynamic every shift because you can't be.
Yeah.
So sometimes 5-on-5, when you watch him, he looks invisible. He really does. Like that. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but when it's time to turn it on, when there are big moments, pressure moments, moments you need to play, he finds a way to make that play for you. He's a really, really great young talent. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Brad Bantle thinks that I should be Michkov in an elf costume. I don't want to be Michkov.
We should make Andrew, remember, what was that elf's name, the dentist there? Was it Hermie? Remember Hermie the dentist there, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
It's been a very long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, and then they had that big lumberjack with the red beard.
That was
Remember
Yukon Cornelius.
Is that gonna be, are you going to be that guy?
No, well, you know what? That
What if
actually
we
would
all
probably,
dress,
that would
what
probably
if we all
be the.
dress up as different characters from a Christmas movie?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was Rudolph.
We have to decide what Ant is. Make him a Yeti.
You can make Ant that big snowman. Yeah. You got Hermie. You got Cornelius Jack. Is that his name, right?
Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius. And then Russ, you could be, I don't know. Who could Russ be? You could be Rudolph.
Yeah.
I love it.
Who's the Bruce Willis from Die Hard? Just spark debate, is that a Christmas movie or not?
Yes, it is.
Do you think Die Hard's a Christmas movie?
Not particularly.
Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and it was an up and down emotional roller coaster here on the Press Row Show, from pregame to first intermission to a second intermission that we were jazzed up by. Flyers had a very strong, almost uncharacteristically strong second period, but boy, in the third, it got away from them. Joel Farabee ends up getting...
They were doing fine
yeah.
until the penalties took over. I mean,
Yep.
so a couple things. If you break down this game in a nutshell, the Flyers did not have enough good goalkeeping in this game tonight. The goaltending was simply not good enough. I mean, that goal, the wrist shot by Forsling, that had to be stopped. That can't just go in the net like a regular wrist shot. And then the penalties. Penalties were killers tonight. I know the Flyers' penalty kill has been pretty good on the year. Like, they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But, man, Florida victimized them tonight, something ferocious. And don't forget, Florida had one taken off the board as well.
And they had the double post.
They had the double post on it. So, I mean, I don't like losing this game the way the Flyers just lost this game, because they had a lead with under 5 to go, with under 6 minutes to go, and then that terrible wrist shot goes in. And then you can't give Florida a power play. I mean, there's just no way. And then Emil Andre with the tripping call on Kachuk. I mean,
So that's to try to
what
save
else
an
was he
empty
gonna?
net. Yeah.
What else is he gonna do? But I mean, the problem is with that is that you've killed the clock, because you're putting them back on the power play inside 2 minutes. So all they had to do was just eat the time, and Florida had no problem doing that at all.
I think that the Farabee play at the end is really the backbreaker. I mean, listen, let's kind of go full game recap here real quick. Fedotov starts in net, gives up 2 goals in the first period. Flyers strong.
They were not good goals.
Strong in the final 4 or 5 minutes of the first. Looked like a team that was rusty after not playing for 4 nights. They go into that first intermission. Clear goal there is to chip away. You had predicted, I think it was going to be 4-3 coming out of the second period.
I said 3-2.
3-2.
It was 4-4.
Yeah, and so the Flyers were back. They score 4 in the second, but there are weak goals allowed. Kolosov obviously replaced Fedotov in the second period, finished out the game. There were some weak goals allowed. There were some boneheaded plays. The positive of the game, I guess, Matvei Michkov had 3 points on the final tally. A beautiful pass to Farabee that then comes across to Forster. He has another one there. He sets up Tippett. Tippett has the individual play to score his second of the night. It was just a game where, like, there are these nice moments. There are these nice little momentum swings. But the Farabee penalty late in the third, he initially gets, I think, called for the cross-check, and then he gets called for roughing as he, like, kind of instigates a fight.
Yes.
And then that ends up being the power play.
There was an interference call that was already made, I believe, and then he got frustrated, and he ended up they got 2 minutes for roughing. I'm surprised it wasn't a 5-minute for fighting, actually, because the gloves did come off.
They did, but anyway, that to me is one of those boneheaded, like, I feel like Farabee will get an earful after the game for that one, because that ends up putting you're at that point 4 minutes away? No, 2.5 minutes away from at least getting a point in OT. And that series of events leads to you being shorthanded.
I agree here with Brandon Ficar, our friend here too. He actually makes a good point. It was a good game. Like, it was, I know what he's saying with a rough game, but it had some good moments in it. The Flyers did some good things in this game. You know, what's funny too is Farabee, as much as he got in trouble with those penalties, he actually played a pretty decent game.
Yeah.
But man, you can't put your team behind the 8 ball, especially with a game where you had a lead in a game you probably were surprised you even had a lead. And that's got to be a little bit frustrating. But, I mean, it wasn't a bad hockey game. I mean, Florida can be a little bit loosey-goosey too. I mean, they really can. They can open the floodgates one way, but they can give up a lot of opportunities the other way as well. You certainly noticed the absence of Bob tonight in the Florida goal.
Yep.
Spencer Knight's a good young goalie, but he's no Bobrovsky. And I think this Florida team obviously plays better in front of Bob than they do in front of anybody else.
You know, shame here, too, for the Flyers. I mean, it's the 4 nights off. Fedotov and Kolosov of late have played well.
Yes.
Well enough to keep you in games, in a couple of cases, well enough to really earn you the win. And maybe it is just the rust, but anytime your goalie gets pulled after one, it's not ideal. After giving up a multi-goal first.
Kolosov still gave up 4 goals.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, it was 5 actually,
And then
but
you have-
the empty
and then you
netter
have the
doesn't
empty
count.
netter.
But I mean,
But it doesn't help that your goaltending let you down on a night that you end up putting up 5 against the defending Stanley Cup champs.
You score 5 goals, you should win.
You should. You should win.
Let's take a look back here. We'll try to trend positive here for a second. So I said Mishkov before. Positive was the 3 points, the way that the shots were created, the way that the plays were created, executing at a high level against the defending Cup champs. What did you take away as a positive from his performance tonight against one of the best teams in the league?
This is who again?
Mishkov.
I thought he played well. He's an opportunistic hockey player. So he's not going to wow you out of your seat every shift like a McDavid can do. McDavid gets that speed going with the puck, and it's like, it's instant TV. You just can't take your eyes off it when he's playing like that. Mishkov is not that player. You're not going to watch him and go, oh man, he's mesmerizing. He does not mesmerize you at all. But what he does is when he gets the puck and he has opportunities, he makes them count. And he's a guy that has a lot of puck luck. I always say I can't explain puck luck. You just have to either have it or you don't. And not a lot of guys do. But he's a guy, bye-bye, guys. The puck follows him around. He makes smart decisions with the puck. He's a good passer, but he's not a guy who's going to just where you're going to watch him and go, wow, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He makes subtly good plays, and that's a good thing.
You especially like to see it come against a strong opponent, too. Like in the past, there have been those moments. The guy that we always talk about as being a second-half player is Morgan Frost. And a lot of times those points come against bottom-feeding teams. And sometimes he has good games against good teams. But at least in the case of a 19-year-old trying to adjust to the North American game, it is a positive. Like even if you were to look at it and say that Florida maybe took their foot off the gas a couple of times in this game, it's still executing at a high level against a legit Cup contender again.
They did. And like, look at the Flyers' goals they got. There were a lot of like good take it to the net goals, like kind of goals that I like and I preach and say that this is how you score in this league. Like Owen Tippett's goals, like the one that he tried to make a play and then followed the puck up. That's a strong play to the net. Garnet Hathaway's goal to give the Flyers a 5-4 lead in the third period. Yep. Just a dog goal, like getting in there and just grinding it out, looking for it, sniffing around for that puck, and he did. And that's the kind of goal you like to see. You like to see that your depth, your bottom 6 guys feast like that, and they did. It's really a shame the Flyers didn't win this game because they were really set up late in this hockey game to lock this thing down and get a win, and very frustrating. I'm more pissed off than I'm actually letting on right now because
really
I am. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm ticked off at that game because we should have won that game tonight.
Is it because we spent so much time together today?
Maybe it is. In these games, too, like, they got to find a way to get them off to 2 hours and 50 minutes. God, I don't know what's going on, but some of these, it's 10 o'clock now.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Like, these games just go on and on and on. I don't know if it's just the Flyers games, but there's been 2. Me and Andrew got out of here one night. We were together. We got out of here at, like, 20 after 10. It was later than this. The game ended at 10:06.
It was one of those shootout games that we had.
It was, yeah, but they only drag in long, so.
Yeah.
What's up, buddies? What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Chris.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. That's right. See?
Love that.
Hope you enjoyed the game, even though not great.
Yeah. Good call. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your night.
Good night, guys.
Andrew Fawcett.
What?
Comment there at the bottom.
The funny thing is, earlier today, Bundy texted me and Ant was like, "Boys, I missed you this week." And I think there's a certain absence when we go that long.
Makes the heart grow.
It does, and then the reality sets in that like we did a regular Snow the Goalie. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's now available in all the podcast feeds as well as on YouTube and Facebook and X. That was a great episode. In the Snow the Goalie studio, we were riding an emotional high. We had a nice time.
Yes,
right? We did.
We had actually, it was a pretty cool studio.
It is a cool studio.
Yeah, it is.
We're gonna make that studio so very great, Bundy. It's gonna be a great studio. We are going to Snow the Goalie eyes it.
Tough loss tonight. So we real quick, the Flyers are at Boston 1:00 on Saturday.
Correct.
That's I'll be doing pregame radio for that.
Okay.
And Sunday is oh boy, I got a double duty Sunday. I got to take my son to the Eagles game at 1.
He said duty.
I'm gonna drive him home, shut my eyes for 30 minutes, and get back in the car and drive up for the 7:30 game.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a blast. 7:30 Sunday night.
We're going head to head with Sunday night
against
football.
a team that doesn't even have a nickname.
team with no name.
They have no name. Call them the Utah Yetis. Right? Just sounds good. There's White Mountains. They'll come up with some god-awful name. You watch.
Well, it's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. It'll be horrible.
What
you watch.
could Utah come up with? The Utah Mormons?
I was going to say the
You
Mormons,
can't call them the Mormons.
You can't call them the Mormons?
No.
The Stormin' Mormons.
The Stormin'
There we go.
Mormons. There you go. All right. Utah Stormin' Mormons.
The Salt Lake.
I mean, look at the what do they call? I don't even know the name of their team.
The Salt Lake Sausages.
Washington Guardians? No,
No, they're the Commanders.
Commanders. Right,
The
right.
Commanders.
They'll be the Redskins again next year.
The Washington
Salt-
football team.
Well, they're talking about bringing back the logo. Saw that, right?
They're bringing back the
I
name.
don't think it's going to actually
They
happen.
don't
talked about
think?
bringing back the
No.
logo. I don't know if they're going to bring back the name, but they were talking about bringing back the logo. It doesn't matter.
Didn't the tribal people want it back? Didn't they say like it's
Could
an
the
honor?
Utah Coyotes? Do you want to Utah Coyotes?
There's no coyote in Utah, but let's go with it anyway.
It could be. It could be a great coyote. You don't know that. Have
Salt
you been?
Lake
When's the last time you were in
Swarm.
Utah?
I've never been to Utah.
How the hell do you know that there
I
aren't
have
coyotes there?
never been to the state of Utah.
You just assumed that there are no coyotes in Utah. You don't know that.
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
That's actually-
There's coyotes
Hey,
everywhere,
intern,
Russ.
look that up. Are there coyotes in Utah?
There's coyotes in every
By the
state
way,
in America.
He has a stat for us post game. I know that usually that's his first period thing. He's current. Like look at the face, and it's good. We have him on the screen so everybody can see his thinking face. My in-laws came to the game. My mother-in-law the other night was here with my wife and all the kids, and it was her first game, right? So now in the case in her case, she had never been to a Flyers game. She's now been to 2 within a week. My father-in-law was also here. It was his first ever Flyers game. They both looked at intern Andrew, and they're like, "Does he always look that serious?" Because he was like this during the period. He was,
See you guys.
had one of these faces, focused. Did you find the answer?
They're quite common in Utah.
Coyotes.
Yeah.
The Utah Coyotes.
Like I said, there's coyotes everywhere.
The Coyotes. I think it's a great name.
There you go.
That's an all-time name. What was your stat? Give the people the stat.
Geez, it seems irrelevant now, but
Well-
after everything we went through in that last
Let's finish
period.
up the show with this. Another double dip of Andrew and his trivia.
So the thing that I found while we were doing second intermission was I mentioned the irony in that Tippett scored 2 goals in that period, and then my question was about him being traded to the Flyers for Giroux. So Tippett scoring 2 goals in 23 seconds is the fastest 2 goals by the same player since Giroux did it in 2021.
Oh, wow.
He did it in 22 seconds.
How about that?
So
So Giroux.
So they're
did it
tied
in 22.
forever, together forever. 22 and 23 seconds.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
All right.
that is beautiful.
Interestingly enough, they've both had just as much of an impact on their teams being winning squads.
I think they should call each other tonight and tell them that. Hey, Claude.
Did you read this? Let's
Let
get
Bun-
Bundy to
let
bed.
Bundy get to
Let's get
bed.
Bundy to bed.
Yeah.
Brandon Ficara also says dismissive Bundy is my favorite Bundy.
Yeah, that's right.
It's better than submissive Bundy. Anyway,
Well,
we're gonna,
that'll
we're
wrap
gonna
it
head
up.
out of here. Yep. Time for us to go. A big thank you to everybody who tuned in for the Press Row
Love
Show.
you guys.
Pregame, intermissions, postgame. And of course, if you haven't done so already, seriously, we have a new episode, Snow the Goalie. You can enjoy the video production. It's very nice. Video production over on YouTube, or you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back on what day, Bundy? Sunday? Sunday.
Sunday.
Where-
We'll
where
see
they,
you
They've
at
pushed that start back, right? That's the 7:30.
Yep.
7. Oh, it sounds great. What's
Sunday
the Sunday?
nights.
What's the Sunday night matchup?
That's
Sunday night
Utah
football.
hockey.
No, no,
Sunday
football.
night football. I have no idea.
Come on, Andrew.
I got it right here.
It's got to be a good one, right? I mean, they're gonna flex. It's late enough in the season.
It's Chargers Chiefs.
Ew.
Oh, that's a good game.
Harbaugh turned that team around.
Hey, really quick, because the next time that we talk, Penn State will have played.
Yes.
Penn State. We all know
Oregon.
that you're a huge fan. Penn State and Oregon in the Big Ten championship game.
Well, I think if nothing else, now Penn State fans and our listeners have one thing in common. We have a common enemy. We hate the Ducks.
What's your score prediction?